Alright, so let's say that we have square root of -4. When we did this in Math 2, we talked about the fact that we want to find out what the square root of 4 is, and then that negative made an I. Okay? So if it's a square root you know, like I know that the square root of 4 is 2, then this comes out to be 2, and then because of the negative, there's an I. So hopefully that kind's pretty easy. Okay? If you have square root of -36, you take the square root of 36, which is 6, and then you put an I. Okay? The ones that make it a little bit more difficult are the ones where we don't know the square root. For example, square root of -12. Okay? And some people do it different ways, but I'm going to remind you how I would have done it, and if we need to talk about a different way, we can. So whenever I do this, I start with 12, and I think of something that you can divide 12 by that's a prime number. For example, I can divide it by 2. So 2 divided by 12 is 6. And then I can divide that by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I can't divide 3 by anything because 3 is a prime number, so that's as far as I can go. And then you look for pairs. Here's a pair of 2's and an extra 3. Anything that has a pair goes on the outside of the square root. Anything that doesn't have a pair stays on the inside of the square root. So this would be 2 square root of 3, because there's a pair of 2, so 2 comes outside. This 3 goes on the inside all by itself. There was a negative in the problem. Because of the negative, that makes an I. Let's say we have square root of -72. That's kind of a bigger number, so there's lots of things that might happen with it. But again, what I do is I divide 72 by a prime number. I usually try to start with 2 or 3 and see what I can do with that. So I'm going to divide it by 2 first. Alright, so I divide the 72 by 2. And I think you get 36 maybe. And then I'm going to divide that by 2. Get 18. We'll divide that by 2. And you just keep dividing by whatever you can divide by that's a prime number. I can't divide that one by 2. So I'm going to divide by 3. I get 3, and then I can't divide anymore. Okay. So then I circle pairs of things. So there's a pair of 2's and there's a pair of 3's. Anything that's circled multiplies and goes on the outside. 2 times 6 goes on the outside. 2 times 3, sorry, which is 6. And the 2 is left over, so 2 goes on the inside. There's a negative on the 72, which makes an I. And so that's what you get. So the quadratic formula is a method that we can use to find the zeros of functions. Now, when you have parabolas, if they cross the x-axis twice, and you get normal zeros and nice zeros, that's your answer, okay? So, the first step here says, write your equation in standard form. So, number 1, if I write your equation in standard form, I'm going to have to move this 16 to the other side. So, I'm going to have x squared plus 6x minus 16. Next it says, graph the equation and find the zeros. If they are nice, then you're finished. If not, go to the next step. So when you're doing these problems, the first thing you want to know is, does this equation have zeros? And are the zeros nice? When I say nice, I want to know, are they regular old numbers that I know, or even things that are fractions that are nice fractions, like a half, a third, 2/3. Okay? So that's how we're going to do first, is we're going to graph it and look at the zeros. Okay, so here we have it graphed, x squared plus 6x minus 16. Look at the zeros. The zeros are -8 and 2. Those are nice. I'm just going to write those down. That's the answer. I don't have to go any further on that problem. Okay? So when you graph it, it might cross the x-axis twice. And those two answers are the answers, and you're done. Okay, no need to use the quadratic formula on that problem. All right, let's look at number 2. It said put it in standard form. So standard form means that this 64 has got to come over here. So you get x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals 0. All right, so let's put it in. X squared minus 16x plus 64. All right, this one's different because there's only one 0, but that is okay. All right, so it's possible for there to only be one 0, and that happens when the graph just like touches the x-axis. So when you have a quadratic, we need to have two zeros, okay? They're either two real solutions like this. This is called one real solution, but it's called a double root because it like sits on the x-axis. I'm just going to put that note there because we'll need it later. That's called a double root. So it's kind of like there's two zeros, even though it only looks like one. Okay? And it's when it just sits there on the x-axis, that's called a double root, and that's called two zeros. Okay? So it might touch twice, it might touch once. All right, let's look at the next one. Let's see what happens on the next one. So we have 3x squared plus 5x plus 1. All right, this one looks like we have some zeros here. We've got two decimals. Are those decimals that we recognize? They're not a half, because a half would be 0.5. It's not ones that like look like 0.2 or 0.3 where you can just change it really easy. It's not 0.3333 repeating. These decimals don't look very nice. Whenever you get something like that, you have to use the quadratic formula. Okay? So this is one time where the quadratic formula is necessary when you don't get really nice zeros. Now those two answers are totally correct if you write those down. But if you were doing multiple choice, especially on the end test, those answers aren't going to be there. It's going to be written in a quadratic formula form. Okay? So, now we're going to the next step. We're substituting values for A, B, and C. So our quadratic formula is here. We have to figure out what A, B, and C are. Alright, A is the number in front of x squared. B is the number in front of x. I'm going to make that bigger just so it's easier to see. And C is the number that's by itself. Alright, so you do negative B. So 5 is B, and it says negative, so I'm going to change it to a negative. So negative 5 plus or minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So all I did is I put each of those numbers where A, B, and C go in the problem. Alright, after you have it set up, the next thing that you need to do is you need to figure out this part right here underneath the square root. You do not put the square root in there. You only figure out the part underneath the square root. So you're going to put 5 squared minus 4, and then you can put parentheses or times. It doesn't matter. That gives you 13. If you put the square root, it's going to mess you up, and you're going to get confused. Don't put the square root. Okay? So what that means is, well, to simplify this, I have a square root of 13, and then I multiply 2 times 3 and 6. This is our answer. And I don't have to go any further. The reason I'm done is because square root of 13 can't simplify. There's no i's. There's nothing weird going on that problem. So this is the answer. That's what I would leave it as. Now, if I would work this out and do negative 5 plus square root of 13 and divide it by 6, and then the other one, I'm going to get those decimals that came up there. Okay? That's just the process to have it looking more like what you're going to see. Okay, let's look at the next one. So x squared minus 6x plus 2. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in Desmos. I got some zeros. 0.354, 5.646. Those zeros are not really nice ones. So it seems that I need to work this problem out. Okay? So everything's already in order. I know that in front of the x squared is a 1, so that's like the A. Negative 6 is the B. And 2 is the C. Okay? And then we're going to put all the stuff into the quadratic formula. So negative B, it's already negative, so I'm going to make it positive and make it a 6. Plus or minus square root. Alright, when I put it underneath the square root and I square it, I know it's going to be positive. I always drop the negative when I do the square. If that's easier for you, then do that. If you need to put it in the negative in there, you've got to put it in parentheses though. So I always just drop the negative when I put it underneath the square root. Okay? And then minus 4AC over 2, and then we talked about that A was 1 because that's understood to be a 1. Alright, I need to put that part underneath the square root in the calculator or into Desmos. 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. Again, make sure you're not putting the square root when you do it. So you get 6 plus or minus square root 28 over 2. Now, on this problem, we're not finished. When we did this on the last problem, we were done because that was the square root of 13, and 13 you can do nothing with it. But on this problem, we can do something with 28, and so we need to finish it. And what that means is I need to figure out what square root of 28 is by simplifying it like we were doing at the beginning today. So I'm just going to come out here to this side, and I'm going to divide 28 by 2. I get 14. I'm going to divide that by 2, and I get 7. And that's pretty much it. So we have a pair of 2's and a 7. Okay? So I've got 6 plus or minus square root of 28 becomes 2 square root 7 over 2. Now, I like that answer. However, it's not completely simplified. There's one more step to do. And the one more step is to divide everything by 2. You never divide underneath the square root. Okay? You always divide on things outside the square root. So this one's going to be 3 plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so you just get square root of 7. 2 divided by 2 again is 1. You can leave it like that, or you can put it over 1. Okay, so on this one, when we graph it, you notice it doesn't cross the x-axis at all. Okay? Because it doesn't cross the x-axis at all, that means on this one you're going to have imaginary solutions. That means when you work out the quadratic formula, you're going to end up with i's in the answer. Okay? If you don't end up with i's, you know you did something wrong. But this is one you have to do the quadratic formula for because we didn't get any zeros. Okay? So, that's why putting that in order was important. So, A is 1, B is negative 6, C is 13. So, we have negative B, so change that sign, plus or minus square root. B squared, remember I always just drop that negative, minus 4AC over 2A. Alright, I'm going to put that part underneath the square root in Desmos. So 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 13. We got negative 16. Alright. Negative 16 is something we know because we know square root of 16 is